welcome to the May 17th Revere Public Art Commission. Can we salute the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Erin's not going to be here, so I'll do the attendance. Lorraine, here. Brian,
Here.
here. Elle,
Present.
and our new member, Asha.
Here. Welcome.
Great. Okay, we're going to go to agenda number 3, updates on the Beechmont Fire Station, and Elle's going to talk about that.
Hi.
Hi.
I just want to give everyone an update. We are back on track. I know the project was on hold for a short while. We're back on track with MAPC, and we'll be starting the stakeholder meetings, and we have one last community meeting that everyone will be invited to. We've decided that we're going to have that on Zoom. We had better participation when folks were able to join from home. So we are going to do that. It will be sometime probably about mid-June, probably second to third week in June. So we'll definitely be getting that information out to the Public Art Commission. Asha, you're welcome to join us as well. Just a quick update. So the Beechmont Fire Station is currently an out-of-service fire station in the Beechmont neighborhood, and we've been working towards figuring out how that could best serve the community as some sort of art center. So we've had feedback from residents and stakeholders in the area to figure out what type of art might work well there, what type of facility, and we've been working with MAPC, the Metropolitan Area Planning Council, to guide us through this visioning process. And at the end of this, we will have had 3 community meetings and several stakeholder meetings, and also focus groups and we've also put out a survey as well to solicit feedback from the community. And MAPC will also be taking a hard look at different case studies to say, maybe other communities have done something similar, and to sort of outline what might be a successful way to bring that to fruition as a community art center. So just a quick update on that to bring up to speed, but more to come on that. And that's it. So I don't know if we want to do a quick round of introductions. Asha would love to hear more about you. And so we want to start off, Councilor McKenna?
Sure. I'm Councilor McKenna, Joanne McKenna, and I've been a councilor for 8 years, trying to do 10, one more term. And I was a school teacher for 33 years, art and photography, and that's how I'm on this. And welcome, Asha.
Thank you.
Brian?
Brian Harkins. I've been an artist for 45 plus years, music industry, software development of games, photography, virtual content creation in virtual worlds. I'm on the board for the Fort Point Art Community, their curator, and drive membership and curation for our galleries there. I helped start the Revere Public Arts Commission that took quite a bit of push to get going, and now we're finally here, and I welcome you on board.
Thank you as well.
Thanks. Lorraine?
Hi, Asha. I am probably the longest term resident. I grew up in Revere. I left Revere and I returned to Revere. I was a teacher also, and now I teach at Lesley University. I am very informally in art. I'm a fiber artist and have done a lot of work, and I've had a couple of little shows, nothing big, but I enjoy being in the arts. So it's nice to have you.
Thank you.
Elle?
My name is Elle Baker. I'm the Open Space and Environmental Planner for the Community Development Department at the City of Revere. And I also helped to get the Public Art Commission going, creating an ordinance to try to bring some folks together to help us advocate for public art. I think that It brings a lot of vibrance to a city. We're starting to get some traction as a team, and
Yes.
I'm looking forward to see where, this is going to take us throughout the summer months as we try to bring some murals and maybe some other types of installations to fruition. So it's a pleasure to have you on board, and we'd love to hear more about you as well, Asha.
Thank you, Elle. Yeah, my name is Asha Waterhouse. I am a multifaceted artist. I do mainly photography and visual digital media production. I also am a pianist. I've been playing piano for 23 years, and I am a songwriter as well. And I do a lot in the art space in terms of event planning and community building. I'm originally from Quincy, Massachusetts, from out there, and I moved to Revere in 2020 during the pandemic, and now I live at Ocean Avenue, if you know 650 Ocean, right there. So I live over there, and I'm just so excited, and I met Joanne actually because I walked into City Hall one day and someone handed me a piece of paper that was, Revere Public Arts Commission looking for people. And I reached out and I sent her a video that I made, and she liked it. And, a few months, had passed. And when you guys were looking for new members, she thought of me, and now I'm here. And I'm very grateful to be amongst, all of you doing something and, having been in the arts and culture in the city space for so long, doing things, I really aspire to continue that, my journey, and do more to get involved in the community. So that's a bit about me. Any way that I can be helpful, and I've got a lot of ideas and I love to execute as well.
Great,
Let me know what I can do.
great. We need execution.
Welcome.
Great. I'm very happy you made it. So, okay. Anybody want to ask Asha any questions?
He
No?
seems to have summed it up well.
Yes. Well, welcome. We're very happy to have you. So we're going to go into Agenda 5, fundraising strategies, auction samples from Fort Point Arts Community. Brian, I'm going to give this to you.
Thank you. Elle, can you pull up the stuff I sent you?
Sure. I think you should be able to share your screen if you want to try. Let me see what I can pull up. I didn't
You're
realize-
gonna have to walk me through that. I haven't done it in a year and a half. Share the screen.
Okay, 1 second. Let me see if I can do that. Let's see. Give me 1 minute. Should be able to pull it right up.
While she's doing that, I'll talk a little bit about it. What we're looking to do is create and generate some income to help support the Revere Public Arts Commission. One of the ways to do that is through auctions, which we're all familiar with. There's been done in many different ways. In the Fort Point art community, we've done auctions, and how we kicked it off was we did an auction. That's the step one. That's the latest. All right, I'll go to the step one. STEP is a program I've worked with. I've taken photography for their meetings. They're doing an in-person silent auction that'll be over at the JFK building. And basically, this is just a rundown of how and what they do to how to do it. You click on it, you go to the site, you'll see, a photograph, a little bit about the artist, a link back to the artist, and what their proposed pricing would be for the service or piece of art that they take and provide. Some are providing lessons. Some are providing performances in whatever setup you have. Some are providing art pieces on all different types of format, from 2D paintings to digital pieces of art and to videography or machinima along that lines, to sculpture, or to even some floral based type things. And then that closes down. If we can go to the other one, Elle.
Yep, just a second.
Yep, no problem. This would be the
Sorry.
footprint.
I wasn't ready for sharing, so I have a lot of things open. Just bear with me a second.
So it's like this big, our screen, huh? The Fort Point section is, we kicked it off with an event where we do
Right
have,
here? I'm sorry. The Project Step 40th anniversary celebration, is that where you want me to go, or projectstep.org?
no, minimize screen to go find this. It would be from the FPAC stuff. Let's go look and see what I got.
Okay, let me see what I can bring up. Is it a separate email?
Yes, it is, and it's an earlier dated email. Auction samples from Fort Point, May 9th. Art for a Cause, powered by Give Smart.
Okay.
Can I explain to me what I do to do a share, please?
If you just, at the bottom of your screen, there's a button that says share. It's sort of in the center.
Let me get back to the screen.
Might be able to get this one right up.
All right, shared screen,
I've got it.
Huh.
Here you go.
right. And if you scan up and down through this, just a little bit out, whatever you go to, I'll pivot
Sure.
to.
Yep.
What it is they did an event for their corporate sponsors, which we've got a few since it's in downtown Boston, sitting in the startup district itself, the Seaport. You're going to see the pricings if you hit the view now,
Okay.
just up a little. No, not the 500. Scroll up a little. See
Right
view
there,
now on
view
the
now?
left? Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
To the next.
So Brian, this essentially can be done remotely.
Exactly. And this one here is an ongoing. It's not going where we want it to go, Al. Can you go to home? I'm sorry.
Yeah. No problem.
The pricing is going to be different on this. There's some more MFA, ICA, world recognized artists, you know, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 for their pieces. That's not going to be represented in what we're doing here. There may be an artist or two that can do that, but what I'm suggesting is we tie into the base that the city has already, i.e. via its server. Here we go. And as you just slowly scroll down, you can see
Sure.
anyone you want to hit on, you know, like Cam Swayson is a cellist. She's performed with all different orchestras all around the country, and she'll come and do either a lesson or a time with a Tony Savarino. He'll do a lesson. Mary Kay, the director, is a violinist, and it tells a little bit about what she'll do about themselves and stuff. So that's a little more detailed rich. With
Okay.
that, I'm thinking we can take and go through the server we have at the city, get individuals to take and participate in it, and funding and pricing more appropriate to what would be our market and our artist background and establishment. There is $18,000 for a project. All right, some of the artists have had their stuff put on the sides of the T-stops over in Brookline and stuff like that. So they're known, it's a much more mature artist, but we could take and have this be ongoing. And we could do it a couple of different ways. We could take and it doesn't matter what format they're doing, taking a picture as we've done here, we'll be able to take and present the piece to the public. We can take and do a minimum price. And once that reached, the person gets that as one way of doing it. We can break it up. So it's very flexible with what we can do and have it be ongoing. If it's going to be a one and done with an image, then the pricing should be reflected higher. I think we should take and look at the Revere business side, corporate side, and see what we can do at pricing towards them to take it either purchase or through an art lending project with us that we can tie into this, work towards earning income. And then what it can be is either you hit the price and you've got it, or it gets bid on where we can do an event. I have 4 different locations that have said they'd be glad to do an event, which they have digital screens. We could meet, do that and bid there and that type of environment. So we have a lot of flexibility with how this can be done. And once a piece is purchased, it can be taken down and a new piece put in. We'd be able to, yes.
Excuse me, what, is there a percentage that Fort Point gets of this?
Yes, and I was getting to that next one.
Oh, okay.
All right, the next part would be that the Fort Point ones, it's 50% or more.
Wow.
Well, you've got $6,500 for a piece of art that may have taken 3.5 months to make.
Oh, no, I think that's a great percentage.
That is a
Right.
great message. Yeah,
Well, the artists do need to be reimbursed, and we're
Right.
looking to, because of their largest, earn income that we would not have earned before. But what we are supplying in our specific situation is the ability to have exposure, which
Yes.
a lot of artists in the city of Revere, unless they're performing type artists, i.e. music or something like that, they do not have that portion of their career maxed out. Where you had mentioned you have done a couple of shows. Joanne mentioned she's done more shows. Our fine sculptress is known the world over for her shows, and I've been in literally hundreds of shows across the world in different formats. So it just depends how much experience, how much exposure you have, and what you can potentially gain from this. And I think it'll help draw artists into our art community and give us the ability to take and have an ongoing, low maintenance type of process where we can earn income to at least stage minor events. It's not going to earn 20, 30, 40K, 50K to put up a mural in some big space, but it's going to allow us to do what I had originally proposed was all art starts in the neighborhoods. And that's where the Revere Art Community and Commission should really be looking at first, is neighborhood-based development of the art and culture scene in the city of Revere.
Right.
There's different ways to work it. It's all workable. I've looked at what we have, Al, as far as the mechanics of being able to work inside the city system. It should work. It may just take and involve a delivery system to send to somebody. And once they've won the bid, that's when they get charged for it. The commission gets split, the paperwork gets taken care of, because there'll have to be some of that because we're a nonprofit and they're selling something. So we've got to be on board with that. Those are not major steps to track down process and duplicate systems that are already working there. Any questions?
Excellent.
yeah,
That's
it
a
sounds
great idea.
great.
I think it's a great opportunity for local artists to get their work out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, and it gives us a percentage. We might take 10%, 20%, whatever it takes. You know what I mean? That's workable for all
Have a Community
individuals.
Art Center, so.
Right. And
Anyone else have comments or questions?
Yeah, I have a few. So Brian, I know you had mentioned at one point that we would like leverage the community in the city. Is there a way that we have to, like, is there like a mass email list, or how would we reach the residents? Would it be like visual, like marketing through flyers and, you know, just public awareness, or would it
it
be
would definitely
online,
be,
or
it would definitely be a social media type of event, probably with a follow-up in the Revere local papers. Because not everyone that's in the age demographics in the city that follows something like this are going to be socially adept at getting through media. But we can reach out to the artist community. There is a group in the city where there's about 140, 150 artists or patrons that follow along with that. We spread the word. I would hope we get to use the city's server base for all its population and put this out as a cultural event, awareness of what's going on with us. I think we should, besides doing that, we should have a little presentation from ourselves saying, this is what we are, this is what we've been working at, this is what we're working towards and what we're getting done. And we want to inform you on a better basis about us. And then link them to this type of opportunity. I think we should have an event where we get together. I don't care if it's at City Hall, wherever. We could throw up some screens and digitally show some stuff and invite people to come and see and interact and participate with them to keep costs down and keep it as an ease to be able to interact the first time, even in a school somewhere. It doesn't matter. As long as we have the capacity to invite people and have them interact with us a little bit. That's essential, which is something I firmly, and we all agree, should be happening on a more regular basis with the city of Revere itself. And then we can format inside of the process, Asha, how we deliver it to them. I've done a lot of stuff for Chamber of Commerce, for Fort Point, for the channel business associations, where we've done Instagram shows. And have 175 people show up, put pictures that were selected up on glass, people put stars on it, broadcasting it live. So there's many different ways to take and market this across. It's just, we need to fit into the parameters of what the city's about. It seems to be split. We've got a younger, more diverse group, and we've got an older base that's more sedentary in its ways in which they interact with social media interaction. And then the third group,
Okay,
and I think we
great.
need to get a hold of the Revere Chamber of Commerce and see who wants to come and participate in the civic duties of helping the Revere Arts Commission and Revere Art Cultural organizations start to represent the city in a better way. And that could be through photography, through paintings, through images in their business, in an art lending type of format. There's all different ways to do this.
It sounds
You
great.
know, it reminds me,
Go ahead.
oh, I was just going to say, this reminds me of an event I hosted a few years back in Quincy. And it was called Naked Walls and Jam. And essentially the premise of the event was that we had a large studio, and it was a art studio and gallery, and we took all the artwork off the walls in the studio and invited people to come on that one night to bring their art and auction off any piece that they wanted to auction off
Amazing.
live. And in between the auctions, we had a jam, like an open mic, and there were instruments and a sound system set up so that people that would perform could get up and do a performance and fill the time in between the auctions. But that just kind of brings back that memory to me, and it was such a great night because everybody that brought art sold it, and everyone that wanted to perform got a chance to do that as well too.
Right.
So and ever since I've been in Revere, I can't say I've been to an art event. So that's much needed. I think that would be really good, especially for my demographic, you know, and the people in my age group. I think that that's, you know, something fun that they'd like to do and look for, get involved with.
Sounds great. Good concept. It's been done successfully in many places. The problem, Asher, is you've been kept a secret. We haven't seen or heard about you till now.
Well, that's not true, Asha, because I did tell them about you. But
Just your name and a little bit about your experiences.
Yeah,
This is the
but-
first time we're meeting.
it's been very hard to get you on and get it going. So, but we're glad you're here. So, and that was a great idea that you did in Quincy. So,
I just want
Yeah,
to take a moment and
and-
let, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
But no, I was just going to say any of those frameworks that I applied there, you know, for the success of that show, I can definitely share and apply here as well too.
great.
Great.
Al, I sent you even earlier an email that outlined what we needed to do, what the breakdowns were, what the process was. So you do have that in your emails with how we would adjust going down the steps to get to implement this type of application in a format that would be workable for us.
Okay. I'm bringing it up now. Do you want to run through it?
Sure.
Okay, just 1 second. I think it's right.
Thank you.
here. Sure. Okay,
Oh.
yes,
Yes.
okay.
I just trying to get at the right distance to see this. All right, we're going to contain, well, I'm old. Revere-centric created arts. All styles and genders of the art can be auctioned, and the traditional art of painting, sculpture, photography, on and on and on. We need to identify the platforms that we're going to take and host the audience with, website or online existing marketplace. There are services that do that. My question is, can we utilize the city of Revere's bandwidth to support a platform for this? Does the space associated with RPAC link on the city website need to be created? All righty, we need to gather the artwork by outreach to local artists, ask for donations on their artwork to include in the auction and work, and determine pricing and other logistics that'll be in probable need to be done, i.e. the mechanism for paying, how it gets, the generation of proper documentation for taxes, for the non-tax process of the Revere Public Arts Commission, so there's no issues with that. And then get the city and the community to participate in this. We've got to reach wide, so if it's people that perform, musicians, whatever, we need to pull them in. We need to develop approved language to introduce the concepts and requirements to participate in the auction and the performance. Could you scan that down just a little, Elle?
Yes.
Thank you. Promote the auction, social media, email network, local publications to promote auctions and generate interest. Ensure that the highlight the Revere Public Arts Initiative and impact on the commission itself. Can we email the city's list, which we had just spoke about there? All right, we need to launch it, set a date, a time when we go live, how we're going to go live. We need to monitor the process, provide updates to keep participants engaged, i.e. ongoing marketing through social media across the platforms, direct emails to those that still believe that email is the only way to communicate. All right, collect payments and distribute artwork and the language for that so that the purchaser understands what it's all done, it's paid, everything's cleared. This is how it could be a pickup, it could be a delivery. The cost would be on them for that if it's something like that. All right, also we need to explore the ability to take and use digital art and being able to feed that to them through, i.e. a weekly changeover where you get a nice new pretty picture as your desktop, or to however you want to do it on your TV screens. There's all different ways to do that. All right, we've launched it, we collect the payments and then follow up. Thank you message to artists and bidders, share the auction results, include how much was raised for the initiative. Careful planning and effective promotion will be essential to successfully introduce an online art auction to support the Revere Public Arts Initiative. These are the initial steps to the beginning of the process. The imaging and loading of auction items, along with overseeing the bidding process and supporting marketing, are all follow-up steps to explore, along with artist engagement and messaging to the community. This is what's been done in the past. This is how we've done it in a few places, and it works, but it requires people to monitor it, people to take and market it, people to take and work the process through so that it does come to fruition and it does generate income for us. Questions on any of this part?
I think it's a great idea. I think it's laid out nicely with clear steps. I think the next step is to create a subcommittee so that we can divvy out the work.
Then what
And
I'm going to do is I'm going to take and fill the section that be the next step on this, you know, the part 2, so there'll be guidelines to follow along with this. I don't think anyone else has done this before at a level like this, and I've been through it 7 or 8 times. So it's not like we're inventing something new. We're using a process that's applicable to our organization, and we just need to work on figuring out how to put the fits from what we have as our outline into what works with the city of Revere's bandwidth, everything that's approved language-wise, and what the guidelines for it has to be. I love the idea of a live art thing. As a private organization, we can do that. I think we need to be a little more curating on what gets presented to the public arts when we do at a public art event, rather than just come and show something.
I love both ideas. I love the online.
Oh, yes.
And I
It's a
love the
great idea.
in-person. I
It
think
works
they're both
well.
great.
It works well, but I just think we need to watch our backside on any thing that could be considered questionable in the format that we're presenting.
So, Brian and Ella, I've run a couple of art shows 25 years ago before the technology. And the one thing that I think is, I think it's a great idea, and we raised a lot of money for the 2 organizations. It is incredibly labor intensive. You've got to have a lot of good, reliable people in every one of the subcommittees to make sure that this kind of thing works. So I just wanted to put that out there. A few people cannot do something like this. It's a great idea, Brian. Can you?
Lorraine, it has changed somewhat with the ability to use the modern technology that's out, so that 4, 5, 6 people can really truly pull this together.
Okay.
As long as it's monitored, because the God's truth is mailing to people's houses, putting it in the paper will not get the response and the return ratio for the investment for individuals to do this. We need to take and push out on our own private social medias. We need to push out on the Revere server for all the people that are out there. We need to figure a way to do it correctly where we can talk about Revere Arts through that, since we are a part of the city, and then social media, and do a time broadcasting where it's Tuesday, this is what goes out. It's Thursday, this is what it goes out. On Wednesday, it goes out on a different platform, and it's a little bit different look. And every artist that's in there needs to realize that they need to self-promote also, and promote the event itself through their media, so it grows the overall base. And as they say, it goes viral. But we can do this. Do not think this is bigger than what we can't do. That's all that was involved in either of these two auctions for information that I've brought up.
I think this is a great start, Brian. I think your willingness to take this to the next step and, like really lie out like what needs to be done. Maybe you could put this in a grid so that, you have, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. You put
Take
the
a
list
sip.
of the outline of this and then what the actual action items are, and then email that out to the group so that we could get some buy-in for, different folks in this public art commission have different expertise that they can offer and bring to the table, different areas that they would be more comfortable supporting. So if you could take this and then in the grid, to do these items, these are the steps that need to be taken. Who wants to sign up for this? And then email that out to the group, everyone on the commission, and see, and then we come back together. You can fill that out. We can start forming subcommittees and then come back together for the next meeting.
Ash, you want to bang heads with me on this?
Absolutely.
Great.
I had a question and a comment. And I'll start with the comment first. So after reviewing sort of the game plan that you have there, you're right on point. And there's already a few solutions that I'm thinking in mind for some of these things. And I wanted to clarify, the Public Arts Commission is a nonprofit organization, you said?
Yes.
The Public Art Commission
It's a 501c3.
is a city. No, the Public Art Commission is a city board. It's a city commission.
Ah,
It's not a nonprofit 501c3.
What I'm
I
working
see
is
exactly
there-
where you're going with that, which is something that in order to have a donation be made and have it be tax deductible, it's preferable to be at a 501c3.
exactly.
yeah. And
Not
that's why I
possible
was
to pull
asking.
this off,
And the
though.
other thing is, I was going to say, oh, yeah, of course. And another way to do it as well, too, is if you were to start even or register a small business in the city of Revere as, like a holding company for the commission. Whereas if you got an EIN number and you could set up something like Stripe, if you know what Stripe is, it's a great web technology that you can use to process payments and do splits and all sorts of things. And that would easily solve the whole thing around the verbiage and the payments, receipts, that whole thing. In regard to the website and doing a platform to sort of have this online on the web, if it is possible to work with the city, whoever does the IT there, I would suggest using a subdomain. If you had a subdomain, say something like arts.revere.org or whatever the city's domain name is. And then you could have other backslash, pages on that. But obviously, we just need to connect that subdomain to a website, and then something could be designed. But the other comment I wanted to make was you were saying that this, might seem like really big, but I think that this is very doable. One of the philosophies that I use and I try to apply to a lot of the projects I do is something called growth-driven design. And essentially, it's just do whatever you can to launch and get feedback and start building and get it public, that you can get traction behind it and then keep improving on it over time. And like one way that I could see this starting to work, even in a growth driven design way, is if we put a landing page and there was simply a call to action that was a form capturing artists that were interested, for people to join our own personal mailing list for the commission if we decide to build one of artists and interested patrons and people that were interested in the arts. That would be a great way to start. And in the meantime, continue to promote that and what this idea is, as well as some of the other fundraising, opportunities that we'd like to start as well too, and keep building this. But yeah, I'm definitely down to work with you on this and see what we can do to get this up and running soon. Do you have a timeline for when you'd like to have an event like this?
When each step is completed, the timeline gets addressed and looked at, rather than let's set a timeline and not get anything done till we get to it. Let's figure out where we need each step by step, which I think would work better for our growth and development as an organization. And then when we've got it all set and done, we've got everyone lined up and we know everything works, then start that process of advertising and marketing it.
Sure.
That's just building on experience.
Is there a centralized location where we can meet or do something in person if we wanted to work on this and build together?
Yes.
There's the limits of the group meeting laws in Massachusetts about how many can meet at one time.
So if you create a subcommittee, as long as it's not a quorum, the subcommittee can work together towards an initiative or an event or otherwise. Otherwise, everyone has to meet together. It has to be recorded.
So what would a quorum of this group be?
Mixed breed is saying 4. Sorry, Brian. I'm
No
looking at-
problem.
I'm
I
looking
don't know
at
why
you
that
on the
keeps showing up.
screen. No,
I
it's
think
fine.
Rob does that. Look at him, that evil smile. I knew it was.
So I do want to just take a moment and introduce Rob to Asha, because Rob joined us a few minutes late after our round of introductions. So Rob, can you introduce yourself to our newest member, Asha?
Absolutely. Hi, Asha. Nice to meet you, and wonderful to hear your ideas. I am not Renee Zierton, that's my wife, so this is June McKenna. So that's one start. I've been a resident of Revere since 2009. I originally moved here from Seattle, to the Boston area from Seattle. So been involved in, I guess, art and artwork, and I'm just an art lover for my entire life. Very important to our family, and excited that you're on board.
Great.
Thank you. Pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
So, Asha, we're gonna meet, I just wanted to tell you, on June 20th, we're gonna meet in the chambers at City Hall. So we're gonna meet in person, and Rob too. I don't know if you know that, but we're gonna meet in person in the chambers June 20th. So I just want to put that out to you guys before I forget. I know it's on the- Yes.
Do we wear our art robes?
I have mine. So
I bet you do.
I have my tassel too. So,
I bet you do.
so, and does anybody want to say anything else about this? This is a wonderful start to a, hopefully a wonderful idea, and to bring it to fruition will be great. So
Let me pivot back just a second for Ash's sake, where I'm saying that we need to, on the timeline, set things. We've planned and set things and have had setbacks in the process. So rather than getting to the point where, oh, here's the deadline and we're talking about why it didn't work, let's get it to work before we get to setting the deadline.
right. And I think that's the hesitation, Asha, because we've talked about many things and it's they have fallen through the wayside. So I think that's a good idea, Brian.
And this is a workable process that lots of places do. It's not we're inventing the wheel. We just need to see how the little wheels all fit from what we're doing. As you mentioned, Asha, different ways of stepping around that. I'm using nonprofits because those are both nonprofits that I'm doing things with as the guidelines that I understand, and getting it so that everything fits properly. The city doesn't feel there's any legal liability is really what we're talking about with things like that. We don't want to be sued because someone's upset because they saw some picture they weren't happy about, which can come into play sometimes in the world we live in. And just do it right from the get-go and have it be something that when we say it's going, it's ready to go.
Right.
And then we just do it.
So I totally agree with you, and I have to leave, but I have something to add for the next time we meet about grants, another way of getting some funding, but we need more time to talk about it. So I will be prepared next time. It was nice seeing you, nice meeting you, Asha. I have to go to class.
Okay.
You next time at the chambers. Where in the chambers, Joanne?
Upstairs on the second floor.
Okay,
It's
Thank
City Hall. City
got
Hall.
it. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you. Bye-bye.
bye,
Bye.
and have a good night. Okay, so, do you want to talk about the grant, application updates, Elle, or you just want to move on to the next item?
No, that's.
I'd like to hear
Well,
about them.
Lorraine and I will talk about it at the next meeting.
Okay, yeah, because Lorraine is involved in that now.
Not a
Okay.
problem.
So I did say that our PAC meeting is going to be at City Hall in the Chambers, June 20th at 6 o'clock. So just make sure you're there and not on Zoom. And I'm going to open it up to open discussions. And anybody want to talk about anything? Rob, no?
Yeah, sure. Actually,
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up something. Let me know if I'm delayed or it sounds funny. I heard a weird echo. So over the last month or so, month and a half, so SBA had they had their play. So they haven't had a play in a number of years due to COVID. And then in addition to that, the high school actually had their first musical or play in very many years.
30 years.
Yes. And in addition to that, there was also an art exhibit featuring students performing over the last, I think it was, I want to say last week,
Yes.
last Thursday. And I just wanted to, I spoke with Kelly a number of times. She's the new director for the art department in Revere. And I just wanted to understand how we can, any thoughts on how we can better support the promotion of the arts and start, I guess, coordinating with what's going on in the city when it comes to art, especially around the schools.
Well,
So,
go ahead,
go
Asha, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, last time when we were texting, you tasked me with thinking of some other fundraising ideas. And now that you mentioned this, Rob, it kind of would tie in. I was thinking that it would be really cool if we could organize and set up workshops, artist-led workshops, people that, obviously were pros or had something interesting to teach, and could come up with some sort of lesson plan, find a space or place that we could use and promote these events where different artists would do them. And it would be, a small fee, name the price, whatever you want. But for these high school students or for people that are in, high school or, grade school, whatever, as long as it's an age appropriate lesson for that day, you could definitely offer that to students to come for free. And obviously for anyone that was interested in different kinds of art, whether it be painting, music, dance, photography, I'm sure you're going to have youth that are interested in all different kinds of art. And, that way we could definitely have the artists who we bring on board to execute and teach these classes, have them promote the Arts Commission and what we're doing in these events and try to get more people involved, as well as from outside of the city. People that like and respect these artists and would come to their workshop that don't live in Revere could also attend these events, and that could generate some revenue as well. and support those, young people that are into the arts that probably don't have the money to pay, for their own workshop. So it's one idea.
Good
Okay.
idea.
Yeah. How about just from, I guess not necessarily, and this would be Joanne or Al, you may be able to talk towards this, but sponsorship of some of the events going on, like the bigger events, just as far as promoting the events, helping them promote them to bring in more people into the and understanding what the high school has to offer, especially around the arts. Because I think as we build a community and promote the artist community within the high schools and the schools, I think that will filter up to the parents, and we may be able to get an organic growth of people knowing who we are.
Right. Well, I know Larry he was trying to set up like a student body to do some murals, bless you, around, you're welcome, around, around Revere, maybe in the high school. I mean, I used to do murals in the high school with the kids all the time, so maybe we could do something, we could, supervise a mural or something in the schools. I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas, but Larry was supposed to come back with a group of people that were going to either do a pop-up in Revere or something in the high school. And I don't know. That fell short. So I don't know where he's at with that, but yeah, I would say if we could sponsor a mural in one of the schools where it's needed, that would be great. We had the high school collaborative art class. Nora, the teacher, called me. I don't know what happened to her, but 2 months ago she called me and she wanted to get involved with this, and she wanted to have the kids do a mural somewhere. And I told her that, and she needed a supervisor. I told her that I would supervise, and as a counselor, I would, give her the paint. I would buy the paint and the brushes for the kids. So, but I haven't heard from her. She went overseas in February, and I haven't heard from her since. And she was supposed to be at the meeting tonight, and she never called me. So I'm going to try to reach out to her and see if she can come in front of the council in next month, and maybe she can bring her kids that they're involved. She's involved with, and maybe they can talk about ideas that a collaboration that we can work together on.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good.
We do need to realize that by addressing more neighborhood-based art, that we're changing a little bit from the Public Art Commission towards incorporating Revere art community into this process. So, Al, are there any guidelines or things we need to develop to work inside of the set parameters we have as the Art Commission?
I'm not sure exactly the question you're asking.
Public Arts Commission is deciding a piece of public art that goes up in the city that meets the parameters that we established as a Public Art Commission. Developing a Revere art community is a different process than a Public Art Commission. They're different entities. And
Yeah.
do we need to address anything in the bylaws for the Revere Public Arts Commission to be able to work with and develop the Revere art community?
I think that the Revere art community is a separate entity. It's not
Right.
going to be dictated or run by the Public Art Commission. It's going to be a standalone nonprofit organization. Should that
Right.
get off the ground. So I don't think there's any restrictions with collaborating as an organized board to collaborate with a nonprofit organization.
Mhm. All right. Don't want to go down the road and find out,
Yeah.
oops, we should have.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to, I could ask the questions, but I don't think there would be, I mean, we have certain rules that we need to follow, open meeting laws.
Yep.
And as long as we're doing all of those things, and if they have ideas or things that they want to collaborate on, they're welcome to join this open meeting,
Great.
present those ideas. I mean, that's what it's really all about.
Mhm. Good,
So-
as long as legal's
I'm
cool
happy
with
to
it.
run it by Ashley and just make sure that, it's fine for us to collaborate with community-based organizations, but I think really that's sort of the spirit of this commission in the first place.
Understand, I just want to cross all the
Yeah,
Ts and dot the
understood.
Is.
Yeah, makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah.
Al, before you go to bed, because you really need to go and go to bed, so you're not looking too good and you're not sounding.
Sorry, I know I'm not myself. I've
I
been
wanted to ask you,
battling this for a couple days. I'm sorry. I'm trying to rally.
you need to rest, but what happened to the mural that we were supposed to find a place for and
So we looked and looked and looked, and really there was just no real space because of the shape of that particular mural and having enough space. I wouldn't rule it out. Maybe he could do another piece of work that would fit a different space. But I would encourage everybody to, come up with a realistic, feasible space that we could actually put a mural on.
The Amazon Center on the highway, the back part of it that faces.
Yeah, Amazon is going to have. Feel free to approach them.
Thank you.
That's what I'll say. But I know that Amazon is going to have likely a lot of corporate rules about what they're doing with their building, just like any corporate, restaurant or otherwise. Like if you go to a 99 and you want to do something there, they're going to have corporate guidelines to follow.
Which is standard
maybe
operating.
They will, but certainly feel free to reach out. We talked about that at the last meeting.
All right, no luck in Beachmont, Joanne?
No, we
No.
tried. I actually found one house that I thought would be great, but it was
Oh,
it was siding. It was that aluminum siding, so it wasn't going to work for the.
bricks are good. I mean, there was that, did you look at the down the beach where the next to Nick's sub shop is, there's a brick building and it has a coat of white paint on the side of it. I mean, they're gonna build there, so it will probably get blocked,
Yeah.
but I mean, they are gonna build there.
Yes, they are.
It's coming.
Like I think sooner than we think. So
Yeah.
I
So, I
don't know
mean, that was
that's
the only space that I found.
feasible. There's still. Yeah, I'm open to suggestions.
okay.
I was actually, and apologies for missing the last meeting. It was on my birthday and I was down in Miami. And and we often go look at artwork, and there's a neighborhood called Wynwood down in the Miami area, and their focus is on public art, but it's a very different thing. Just as far as how they manage the artwork on the buildings there. But one thing that I did see that was rather interesting, and I was thinking about the installation, is it wasn't actually a painting, but it was almost
Canvas?
like a canvas type thing that could be seen through. And I don't know if that's something that could be put on the MBTA garage, just as an open canvas, or I don't know if MBTA is completely off the table.
I think it's off the table. They're
Okay.
really hard to work with.
That
Okay.
same process is used over in Cambridge, where they have pop-up art and markets and shows. I've took pictures of it. The next meeting I'll have them, where
Mhm.
it's the same material you're talking about, and they just put up installation that they can take down and how they want. Some of them are a block long, just one solid piece, and it's all different imageries on it. So that's another good way of doing it. That's what I was envisioning for the Amazon, where they drop it down. We could even get the people that have the signs in Revere. Now they're no longer putting them on paper and pasting them up. They're printing them on a canvas type thing and wrapping them around their signs. Give us one of those, give us the back piece of it. We get the kids to paint on it. We grommet it so that it can hang, and then it can be moved from place to place in the city. Because all they're doing is they're throwing away or they're recycling the piece. I'm sure they can make a donation of one or two of those things. We get it cut to the right size for us, and we've got a format, a matrix to apply whatever art they want to use on that, and then recycle it through.
And then I did want to also ask, is is the money allocated specifically for this installation? Like it can't be, I understand that we selected an artist. Okay. So it can't be like allocated to the parking lot and coordinate with the neighbor in the parking lot on Shirley Ave or something.
It can be within the same vicinity. It has to
How
be
long does it have
within-
to be up for, El?
It's a mural, like it's
Ideally,
it's for the mural. That's what the funding is for.
okay. Okay.
Well, murals are painting. All
Exactly.
right, so if we
Okay.
put it on a substrate that could be moved, there's a place down right in that location, the old Wonderland billboard sign that is not being used. We could put it on that, and it would be showing it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Sorry for Alfredo.
I'm waiting for the cat face now.
Yeah, bring them up, bring them up. Ah! Well,
So-
I just want to tell you what I saw, and then we'll wrap this up. But what I saw in Davis Square is they put up on it was a brick building. They put up probably about 50 pieces of plywood with paintings on them. And what they did was they took all the businesses around Davis Square and they replicated the artwork towards those buildings, and they put these the artwork up on a building on the side of the building, and it's beautiful. You got to see it. And it
Yep,
says
it's real
welcome
good.
to Davis Square, and then it's got all the shops. It's got like a pair of scissors with cutting someone's hair, and they got all kinds of stuff. So it was a really neat idea. And it's something that you can take down. It's not permanent on a building, so you don't have to paint the building. It's probably just screwed in there somewhere. But you could take it down, put it up, and it works. It really works. I'll take a picture of it the next time I get my hair cut, because that's where I get my hair cut.
The number one hipster space in America, Davis Square.
Davis Square, yes.
It is. It is recognized as the number one hipster space.
Wow. Well,
Davis Square is great for stuff like that.
It works. It really works. Davis Square doesn't really have any artwork except for this, whatever it is. It's like a mural, but it's in pieces. And it just shows what the community's all about. So
I'd love to see it.
that's another idea. That's another idea. And I'll take a picture and I'll share it with you at the council meeting. on
Okay.
June.
See, Asha, we've got a million ideas.
Yeah.
So anybody else have something to say? Because I'm gonna wrap this up. I know Elle needs to go to bed and take some medicine, so.
I'm okay.
So I'm gonna say, we're gonna close this meeting, and I will see you on June 20th in person at the council meeting at 6 o'clock.
Wear your robes.
And
Oh.
for takeaways, before that, we look forward to getting the information from you, Brian.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll work on it in the next day or
So that we
two
can
and
Work
give
on
you time to
figuring out
have it.
who has
Right.
what expertise and where they want to jump in, and then we can kind of try to start hashing that out at the next meeting.
Great.
We might want to bring the IT people in on this. They could give us the extent of what we can and cannot do with that.
Yeah, and there may be other platforms. It looked like they use a specific platform for that auction that you sent the link to.
Right. What I'm trying to
So
do
they
is
may
keep
have
our,
already have a platform that you could use for that. That's like.
I'm trying to keep
plug and
our costs down.
Yeah, but maybe, having the right tools to execute.
I agree.
Is definitely far more achievable than try to reinvent the wheel.
You can see I come from a nonprofit.
Yeah. But I mean, you do need to have the right tools in order to execute.
Exactly.
When we use the call to artist platform, which we had never done before, and that was very successful. I think
Good.
using that as a tool, that was, that was successful for this community. So
Good.
I think that those things are important. And, if it can be recreated, that's fine, but maybe having a platform to go from would be helpful. But anyway, thank
Excellent.
you, everyone. Asher, pleasure to meet you. Welcome aboard. And great
And
meeting.
thank you for your ideas.
Thanks, everybody.
Soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Nice seeing you all.
Bye, Robert.